My name is Jean. I'm sitting in my cozy one-bedroom condo in Seattle, looking out at the city lights. It's been a while since the storm in my family subsided, but the memories are still as vivid as ever. A few months ago, I received a call from my dad. His voice was trembling with anger. "You went behind our backs," he said, barely giving me a chance to speak. "Filing a petition, that's betrayal." Mom was on the line too, her tone icy. "We raised you better than this," she spat. Their words stung, but I'd seen it coming. Let me take you back to how it all started. I grew up in a small town called Maplewood. My dad, Henry, was a work-obsessed stockbroker. He was always at the office, chasing the next big deal. Mom, Louise, was a stay-at-home mom who doted on my younger brother, Leo, who was 20 at the time. Our family had a shared savings fund, a large inheritance from my grandmother. It was supposed to be divided equally among the four of us. I was 26, working as a financial analyst. I contributed a significant part of my salary to the household expenses, whether it was groceries or the mortgage. Leo, on the other hand, was a free spirit. He had no real job, just a few odd gigs here and there. A couple of years ago, my parents bought him a shiny BMW without a second thought. He'd drive around town like he owned the place, while I was stuck at work, crunching numbers. In high school, Leo was always in trouble. He'd skip classes, get into fights, and even got caught stealing from a local store once. Mom would go to the principal's office and charm her way out of it, saying he was just a kid having fun. Meanwhile, I'd get grounded for weeks for getting a B on a test. I tried to make my voice heard at family dinners. I'd suggest ways to invest the savings fund to get better returns, or ways to cut down on unnecessary expenses. But Dad would just wave me off, saying, "You're too uptight. Enjoy life a little." Mom would nod and then turn to Leo to ask about his latest adventure. Last summer, Leo came home with a bombshell. He announced that he wanted to throw his 21st birthday party on a private island in the Caribbean. His girlfriend, Stella, was right there, egging him on. She was always into the flashy lifestyle, with her designer clothes and expensive vacations. She showed us pictures of a luxurious resort on her phone, with infinity pools and private beaches. "It's perfect for you, Leo," she gushed. "You only turned 21 once. Go all out." That evening at dinner, Dad brought it up like it was the most normal thing in the world. "We think it's a great idea to use the family savings fund to cover Leo's party," he said, looking at Mom for support. My heart sank. That savings fund was my dream of buying a small apartment in the city. I'd been saving and planning for years. But they didn't even ask for my opinion. I spent the next few days calculating the costs. A weekend at that resort, plus flights for Leo's friends, catering, and entertainment, would easily cost $50,000. It was a huge chunk of our savings, and it could leave us all in a difficult situation if an emergency arose. I tried to reason with Mom one afternoon while she was baking cookies. "What if we throw a nice party here in town?" I suggested. "We could rent a hall, have a live band, and it would be much cheaper." Leo, who was in the living room, overheard me and scoffed. "A local party? That's so lame. This is my 21st, and I want it to be unforgettable." Mom just kept stirring the cookie dough, not even looking at me. That night, I sat down with both of them and laid out my concerns. "That $50,000 could be used for so many other things," I said. "What if one of us gets sick or loses our job?" Dad leaned back in his chair, crossing his arms. "You're always so negative. This is a once-in-a-lifetime event for Leo." Mom chimed in, "Just support your brother. Don't be so selfish." I felt like I was talking to a wall. Over the next few weeks, Leo and Stella were busy booking flights and making arrangements for the party. Mom and Dad were fully on board, using credit cards to pay for deposits and sending out invitations. I started losing sleep, worrying about the future. Every time I brought up the savings fund, Mom would give me that disappointed look, and Dad would change the subject. I felt invisible, like my concerns didn't matter at all. One day, I overheard Dad on the phone, sounding frustrated. $70,000? He said. How did it get so high? I found out that Leo had added more guests, upgraded the rooms, and even booked a private yacht for a day. I knew I couldn't stand by and watch our family's future being squandered. I reached out to a friend who was a lawyer, Mark Thompson. I explained the situation to him, and he invited me to his office. He laid out the process of partitioning the family savings fund under Washington state law. It's not an easy process, and it might cause some tension in your family, he warned. But it's the only way to protect your share. I decided to take the plunge. I gathered all the necessary documents, including bank statements and a copy of my grandmother's will. I signed the petition to partition the fund, feeling both scared and determined. I kept my plans a secret from my family. I started looking for a new place to live in Seattle. I found a small one-bedroom apartment in a nice neighborhood. I filled out the application and put down a deposit, all without telling anyone. One night, I sat down and wrote a letter to my parents. I explained why I was taking legal action, that the savings fund was meant for all of us, and I couldn't sacrifice my future for Leo's party. I left the letter on the dining table and the house key beside it. The next day, I packed my essentials into 2 suitcases and drove to my new apartment. It was the hardest thing I've ever done, but I knew it was necessary. After I moved, the fallout was intense. Leo posted a long rant on social media, calling me selfish and ungrateful. His friends commented, saying I was ruining his big day. I also got calls and texts from relatives, scolding me for causing a rift in the family. But then, I got a call from my Uncle David. He'd always been the wise one in the family. Your grandmother set up that fund for all of you to have a secure future, he said. You're doing the right thing. His words gave me the strength to keep going. As the legal process dragged on, I focused on my work. My boss, Sarah, noticed my dedication and recommended me for a promotion. It was a small victory in the midst of all the chaos. Finally, by winter, the court finalized the partition of the savings fund. I received just over $35,000, my fair share. With that money, I bought this condo. It's not much, but it's mine, a place where I can be myself without the weight of family expectations. My parents had to move to a smaller house and take on part-time jobs to pay off the debts from Leo's canceled party. Leo got a job at a local store, and his relationship with Stella fell apart. I decided to cut off all contact with my family. It wasn't out of anger, but because every interaction was a reminder of how I'd been dismissed. Now, I'm building a new life for myself, focusing on my career and my own happiness. Looking back, I've learned that standing up for myself was the best thing I could have done. I realized that I can't sacrifice my future for someone else's recklessness, no matter how much I love them. If you've ever been in a similar situation, I'd love to hear your story. Share your thoughts in the comments below.